So here I am ready to start Hannibal, and I've got the choice to split the Hannibal Mago group and do two things with them, essentially. Mago could probably capture one of these cities on his own. Hannibal might be able to take one of the cities with forces in it. Although these are larger, so they actually have 4 of those extra units. The two together probably almost certainly could take the whole a big city out. But the question is it really worth my time to try to wipe out Roman armies? Or is my goal to try to take Rome? The Fabian strategy here, I haven't played this much, so I don't know what's going to work and what's not. And these piles are rather large. I may end up moving them into the control boxes if they start to get to be too big a problem. But the counters are big, so I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. By the way, I looked at this. I think I understand. These routed this turn, eliminated this turn, to keep track of losses so you get your rolls if you do them, rather than anything else. And then the previously routeds go back there so you wouldn't roll for them. Another question is Hannibal big enough to take Rome? That's his victory conditions, right? You hope he's not. There's a pretty decent sized force here. If he is, he's got a huge force to begin with. His force is going to get smaller as he goes on. He's going to have trouble reinforcing. So maybe the strike to Rome is the best move at the beginning of the game, but I don't know. That looks potent, and I have the opportunity to gain my Italian ally units, although they're not terribly strong. I have the opportunity to gain the Macedonians if I seize the east. All of that's very tempting. So I think that's where I'm going to go, is try to follow more of a historical path rather than just go try to grab Rome, because I win if I grab Rome, but it's pretty tough to take. It's remember, the defender has the attack bonus, and the defender does not get it, no matter what, if I recall correctly. Defender ignores routes. Now, I don't think the attacker loses his attack bonus. It's just the defender gets an extra one, and the defender doesn't suffer any routes, which is pretty big. Let's measure these forces up. So I get a bunch of bonuses off the leadership. That's a big difference. That's tempting. Very tempting. I also have the cards, and I'm going to play with them face up. I should probably do this with the CDGs as well. I'm just looking at them, and I'm like, there's no way I can handle these in my current state. Interesting ones, effects on the senates. In particular, really hosing the Roman Senate from the Romans being able to do much. But they can't do much if I'm in Italy. They've got to counter that threat. But additional things like reinforcing Hannibal with 2 units already in play. Now, that's not defined anywhere. And what does that mean? I don't know. Do they just teleport there? There are definitely some issues with the game in terms of not explaining some of this stuff. Extra troops in Carthage, that's not terribly helpful to me. The Senate influence might be later on. Macedonian or Pontian aid is useful. The Pontian aid I can't play yet. The Macedonian, I have to have a city. I have to have just taken a city or defeated a consul, a city in eastern Italy, which is the green area. The Pontian aid I can only do if I have 8 cities in Italy. The Macedonian aid gives me some naval factors over in the Mare Internum. Huh. That doesn't make sense. Or Mare Adriaticum. Well, where's Mare Internum? That's over here. Or over in the Adriatic Sea. And that could help me, perhaps. But naval power is kind of... I don't have a really good grasp on what it's going to do for me. It would certainly give me more capability to transport stuff, which would be helpful. Yeah, I'm trying to debate whether or not to split those initial forces. That's the biggie, because if I do split them, I can grab 2 cities instead of 1. Do I have the extended march ability too. Let me think a little. So I decided I'm going to try to split my forces and grab eastern cities, Ancona down here, because, well, Hannibal can do an extended march. I have an option which allows him to do an extended march for free. So that's what I'm going to use there. But I got to start the turn off, and I start with the Carthaginian Senate phase. Now here I have to look. The Roman Senate, or the Roman player, doesn't really want to use these. Carthaginians get an automatic move into Italy on the first turn of the game. So I can't prevent the invasion, so I'm not going to play those now. So we roll. This probably doesn't mean much. I get an option. That's going to give me 2 new units. Well, when do those appear? I think they appear immediately. Yeah. So I'll throw a couple more Carthaginians here. And now I'm going to get, how many actions did I say? I got a 1. Gives me 5 actions. Well, 2 of them are getting expended up here. 3. Let's get out of here. I don't know if I can move this. See, what I'm wondering is, I'm not going to be able to shift a lot of troops. I only have 4 points of boats, so I can move 4 of my troops under Hanno. And maybe make a landing here in Rhegium, because the Roman forces are not blockading me right now. They will, but they don't get there yet. So I think that makes sense. I think I'm allowed to do that. So bring some cav with me. Oh, so I have how many? 5 units, right? Let me see. Oh, but if I do that, I can't move into Gaul. I'll only be allowed to do 1 thing at my option. 1 leader can do a transfer of front on the option, no matter what. I think it's harder to get out of Spain, or to get out of Africa into Italy. So I'm going to do this as my option. And let's see, I've got 2 actions over there. I'll spend 2 over here. I've got an extra action, but I don't really have anything I can do with it. Actually, the Navy can't do much either. I could move that Navy, though, the Spanish Navy, and I think I'll do that. So there's 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Actually, I can sail up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here, but I'm going to actually keep them here, defending Africa from the Italians. I have to siege a city if I'm going to attack here. And we'll take Naples. That's the easiest. Now, in the midst of the city activation, when we land here, oh, that's not strong. All right, in the midst of the city activation, that's a minor city. It's going to have 2 garrison units. And put them in the front line here. And we're facing Hanno. I don't know where to put him. I'll put him over here in the castle. And he's allowed to put up to 8 units in his front line. Now this is a buckets of dice system. So let's grab my bag of dice. And how many factors do I have? 2, 3, 4, 5 factors. Now, there's nothing that really helps here. Roman siege, I don't think is going to help me defend. Let's see what that's listed as. Strangely, that must be, oh, there it is. When the Romans play this card, it eliminates 2 intrinsic garrison of all cities. All units storming the city are an additional +1 in combat. Yeah, it's only on the attack. So, I'm going to have, remember, Cav's only 1 strength point, so I've got 4 dice against the Romans. I'm not going to be in good shape here. But all my dice are bonused because I have a leader who has a 5. So, we need 5s or 6s. And we get 2 hits, which will eliminate them. But they get 2 dice in defense. Now they're a +1 on their dice. And they get a single hit, which I'll take on one of these Carthaginian regulars. And we've now landed and taken Naples. Presumably I have a control marker, but I don't really need that while I'm sitting there. Now I got to divide up Hannibal's force, and I'm going to be launching attacks, I guess, on here and on one of the major cities, probably the port. I've moved my navies. Yeah. Okay, so we're moving Mago first into Cisalpine Gaul, and he's going to launch a quick attack here on this city. And we'll just storm it again. That's again going to be a 2-point city. Yep. I'm going to put a Hanno here. I'm allowed 8 guys here. I don't have 8 there. Got a bunch of Spaniards who are really good in combat. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 troops. But 4 of them are regular. Yeah, I'm going to make all 7 at +1 because I can up the 4 regulars to +1. I think that's better than going for double pluses. Double plus on good. And let's see what we get. Well, we got plenty of hits, so we took the Romans out. Let's see what they hit of us. They missed. So we've taken them out, and I'll keep these here. And these forces have now captured this city. You need a leader to make any given attack. Now here's the thing. Hannibal can actually storm this as he's moving through there. That seems like not a bad idea, I believe. Let me make sure I understand this correct. As far as I can tell, he can do that. So he's going to launch an attack there, but I'm also going to play the Macedonian aid card here, because I just took an East Italian city. I get these 4. I can either put them here or, even better, here, where I've got, and these are bonus ships with an attack bonus. So I should be able to, well, maybe not dominate, because the Romans have more navies than I do, but at least it gives me a stronger defense of Africa at this point. All right, so I'm going to conduct this battle, and then this one over here. The second one, I'm going to be facing 4 units when I storm it. But I'm just going to storm these battles. It's easier than the other side of things. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to gain control of as many cities so that my production, when I hit the recruitment phase here, is high enough that I can start, really putting the vice on the Romans and cause them some difficulty. On the other hand, they may be able to handle something like Hannibal locked in a city. But sieging cities is hard to do when there's forces in them, I think. Okay, so Hannibal was successful in his 2 attacks, but he lost significant units. He lost a Gaul early on, and he even lost some. He lost all his Gauls actually, but he also lost some Spanish cav in the attack on Ancona. That was kind of a hefty attack. He's got some powerful things like his elephants, which historically he probably shouldn't have here for very long. They work well on city sieges. The 2-point unit with an attack bonus, they're pretty potent. Nobody got an upgrade because they weren't facing an enemy leader. If there was an enemy leader in the cities, they would have gotten it. I've done all my movement that I want to do. I could keep pushing on with Hannibal, but he's been weakened here. I have an extended move count card where I could actually gather his forces and launch another attack. You can see it's pretty easy to take the unfilled cities. Got this Hannibal on the march. I could make another strike, because once I get enough, I can get Macedonians in. They've just got their navy in play right now. There we go. All 5 cities in eastern Italy at the beginning of a turn. That's tough to do because the Romans can go re-grab cities. Now, I can leave garrisons, but I don't have a lot of troops. So that's kind of less than attractive. And I'm not going to get a lot unless I take another major city. So I think I'm going to play my Hannibal on the march. Gather Mago with me. I kind of don't like leaving Hannibal this week. And then I could actually march another area. I don't get anything out of taking another minor city. I would I can't launch on Capua, so I think I'd go for Asculum and take that. At least I get some reinforcements from that. You can see from the setup here, I've actually got units back in the reserve line because I exceeded my 8 units limit. I'm not sure how I want to do this and whether I'm being wise or not. It's always tough for me to get a grasp on a game like this. Feels like I'm going to be playing whack-a-mole pretty soon. I'm not sure. But let's launch our attack there and see what we come up with. I may want to leave some forces behind to help defend Ancona. I think that's a wise idea. So now I only have 3, 6, 7. Let's throw one of my elite cav in there. I've got the Africans in there to take losses more than anything else. They take 2 hits each, so they're kind of cool for that. Okay, now since I have 2 major cities in eastern Italy, this was useless for me to take. I don't have a leader up there. I don't have a major city. The 2 major cities are going to give me 2 units that I can pull. I'm allowed to pull infantry or cav. I feel like I'm kind of low on infantry. So, oh, those are Roman allied units. I don't get those. Doesn't make much difference here. I'm going to take 1 infantry and 1 cav. Put the infantry here. These are my Italian allies. They're not as good as the Latin units are, but that's life. All right, and now let's see. Not sure what else. Now, at some part I got an option card just before this, and I want to take one. I don't believe I got one for winning battles, but maybe I'm wrong, because I've got room for 1 more I could draw. Yeah. Yeah, you only get it if there's a leader present. Okay, so we've gained a number of things, but you know what I forgot? Capturing a city has an effect where other cities fall. I don't remember if it's got to be a major city or a minor. I'll try to look that up here. I can't find it easily. Alright, I'll be back in a while. Anytime a city falls, and you can take any kind of city, so I could have attacked minor cities. And I get an extra unit because I have all of eastern Italy. Now, having all of eastern Italy, if I'm able to hold that, I'll get my Macedonians coming in. There's no reason to believe I'm going to be able to hold that, but it does kind of set the stage for what we're doing here, I guess. I certainly should have taken less losses with Hannibal. Oh well. I'm not too concerned. I mean, it might mean the game doesn't, end in a... It could skew the game, but I'm sure it does, but there's no real issue to that in my mind. Now we're going on to the Romans. And the Roman consular elections, they have to pick 2 of their Roman leaders to replace. And that's a tough call because they all suck. I'm going to take a little break. For the Romans, I picked the 2 southern leaders to be replaced, and I got Scipio and Flaminius. So I got better leaders. You're almost guaranteed to do so. Now I got to roll for the Roman Senate. I don't want to influence it particularly. I don't think the Carthaginians want to either. They're not terribly worried about what Rome might do, say launching an attack on either Spain or Africa at this point. So, we get reinforced Spain. We can't do anything with that. We get 1 new unit, and we'll be allowed 4 actions. Take a Roman legion. Shows up here in Rome. I'm a little worried. I don't want to strip Rome of everything but the urban forces. On the other hand, my other leaders aren't terribly good. What I do have going in my favor, however, is a Roman siege card. I also have Senate influences where I could throw extra troops in Rome. Of course, I can do that at any time during the opponent's play. So I think I'm going to count on making a siege instead. And I got 4 actions. I'm going to activate you know, all my leaders. I could activate my navy and go for a naval battle too. I've got the numerical advantage right now. Granted. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to activate 3 armies and a navy. What's cool here is the cities are all dropped by 2 garrisons. So I can pretty much capture without loss minor cities. That sounds appealing to me. I do have to keep in mind what my recruitment is, though. And until I get really familiar with the game, I'm going to be looking all this up. I won't do it always on camera. 1 Latin in each major city in Italy, and if he has all the minor cities, he can recruit an extra unit. Okay. So I can take the minor cities very easily with either of these leaders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be attacking this city, that city, and I guess this city. And just trying to, I have to take an Eastern Italian one because otherwise the Macedonians come in. And basically that's going to convert a bunch of cities out of the enemy's hands. Now, here's the problem that I see. That should have converted a city. Capua is also under their control, which should have gotten troops. Ruh-roh. Let's get some Italian allies in there. Yeah. Whew, that changes matters a little bit. Because, see, if I take this, I get this for free. If I take blue, I get this blue for free. But if I take this, that doesn't really gain me anything. I don't know anywhere else I can go, though, of value. Because without doing an extended march, now, that would be using my same card. Yeah, so I guess I'll go with what I was planning on doing. This was painful loss, though. In because the naval battle is a little different. You count the factors as to what can be in the front line. So only 8 factors were allowed in the front line. The Romans, who swept in with a lot of troops, a lot of ships, had less than that. But now they can shift up. I don't know if there's multiple rounds of naval combat, though. That's kind of up to the Carthaginians whether or not they want to stick around. Their numbers do not look good there, do they? Well, they got to do 1 more round of combat and then they're allowed out. But they got to fight this one out. So far, the Romans have actually lost more, but that may not be good enough. The reason they've lost more is the quality Macedonian ships, but now the numerical, they're able to get 8 ships up against 6, and that can make a big difference too. It's down to only 3 Macedonian ships left. I'm going to pull them back into Carthage and let the Romans win the day there. That doesn't really give them anything, but they now have kind of control of the sea in the sense that they can sail 6 units somewhere if they want to. Otherwise, I think they're done with the Roman action phase. They get an option card and they have room for one. They didn't take anything that gave them any plague. They can kill non-African units. Now their recruitment is big though. And this is why you've got to knock the Italians out, the Romans out early. 1 Latin unit for each controlled major city in Italy. And all of the minor cities give you an additional unit, just like what you're able to get with the Carthaginians. So what I'm looking at here is in the north, I get 2 Latin allies. And I have a choice here between offense and defense with the cav option. I'm going to place defensive units in the city and an offensive unit up here because I own all the minor cities. Of course, I can scoop them up before I march, but that weakens their defensive position. Over here, I don't have any major cities, but I have all the minor cities. So I can take an additional unit, and I'll take an offensive unit and give it to Flaminius. Down here, I do not have all the minors. That's a pink, not an orange. So I have all the minors. So I'm going to get 2 units. And I'll again put the Latins here. And I'll take some Latin cav. I always want cav, right? Here I'm allowed to take the Roman regulars instead of Latin allies, if I so desire. And Roman regulars are better. However, I'll take a Roman regular in Rome, but I don't really know that I want one up here. I think I'm gonna, because I've got counter mix restrictions, of course. I do not have all the pink minor cities. So that is my production. And that ends the first turn. And the turns will go a little quicker than this afterwards, but I'm going to load this one up as is. I think it's a first turn is always kind of a painful thing where I'm looking in more detail in the game. The rest of the game should go fairly quickly. I won't be on video as much though.